So, this is Webgrade. Went through the trouble to install it, like a course management system. It uses PHP, JavaScript, xhtml. Let me open it up. Let me download it. Hold on. Might have to cut out that video in case something in my history popped up. I need to turn off. That looks objectionable, I guess. Anyway, so Webgrade. Let's download him. Project. Setting folder. Extract project. Downloads. Okay. So we'll consider this the beginning, I suppose. What type? So let's see here. This htaccess file has the rewrite rules. So if you notice, if you go to the register page, it just says register, and it looks like a directory versus having any extension. And these are all PHP files for the most part. And there's a rewrite rule located in the htaccess file, which means you have to allow overrides in your directory statement on Apache. But we have the various pages to add entries, ajax, which is asynchronous JavaScript and XML. That allows you to send a post request in JavaScript. So if you look at these, most of these guys do a database connect to connect to the SQL database. Currently using SQL to interface with the database, but I mean Postgres rather, because I mean everything's SQL. Also supports MySQL. I think there's also an Oracle entry in there, but who uses Oracle? So for the most part, most of these guys will connect to the database, validate the user to be sure that you're logged in. I was hoping to see more Ajax related items in here, seeing how it's called Ajax, but I haven't messed with this in a while. I think this is just like the entries here. So if you type in something here, Bob, it should pop up. Username still available, whereas you do something like a write, which is used, it's already taken. So we'll make Bob, password Bob at yahoo.com. So it says, hey, it's a weak password because Bob is, add an exclamation. Maybe that'll make it acceptable. And I think if you had a uppercase, so now it's Bob exclamation. I'll do capital B, Bob exclamation. Now it says it's a strong password. ID. So these are just numbers. Not much enforcement on that, but if you had a real university, I think you'd have a certain number of digits, that sort of thing. So let's do Bob Dole, and he's a history major. Sure, okay. So then we submit. Bob Dole has been created, and then you can log in as Bob. Capital B-O-B, exclamation, super secure password. So user Bob is logged in. So it'll show his courses that he's in, but he's not registered to any courses yet. When he does, you'll see that he's able to see his courses. But see, for me, my account, I've already added some courses and such. Username. Did I change my password? Oh, I just made it a right. Okay, so there it goes, a right. So this shows that I'm in 2 courses. You click on the courses, kind of show your grade. I gave myself hundreds, so that's not 2, but this isn't like just the grade. This is like the weighted average of the class, so like your final grade at that point. Let me log out here. The other guy, I can't quite remember his name. I think it was John Doe, but I don't know the accounts. I think view. I think I made an account with user view because the name doesn't necessarily match the account name, that sort of thing. So this is, yeah, so this is probably John Doe. I should probably add his name somewhere, that sort of thing. But he got 80, 75, but you'll see that 70 was the first grade and 80 was the second grade. So this is, it should be the weighted average. What you'd think that 70 would be the first, but maybe the dates wise, 80 comes first, that sort of thing. I should probably change the test date. That way, chronologically, it makes sense. But those are like the student logins. There's a default like a teacher login, which is root. So root, which has, a little bit more ability to do things. So here's courses that are available. I added a bunch of them, but you'll see that the number of sections defined here is number 2. So that one actually has stuff in it, but we can add a course real quick. Course CS 300. Let's do databases. Intro to SQL and relational databases. If I could spell. Submits. So then we added CS 300. So there it is, databases. You can modify it. So let's do 301 and database advanced databases. Do that. So there you go, advanced databases. You can delete it with that guy. I think there's like a lock, so that unlocks it, and then if you click again, that'll actually delete it. But in here you can add a section. So let's say section 1, fall, instructor. I'm doing football players for the most part. So let's do Tony Romo. Tony Romo, schedule Monday, Wednesday, Friday. NH, Liederman Hall, if you know, UT Arlington, where I was at the time. I transferred to UNT eventually. Long story. But Niederman Hall, I think there's 3 floors. I think there's actually a lot of floors, so let's do like 500, which I think is actually like the teacher floor or something. But so then we added a section. In the section, you can add students. So let's add me. Let's add Joe Buck. Add John Doe. Add Bob Dole. Just add everybody. And, you can add an assignment. So let's say test 1. Let's make it due in May. Percentage, let's do 25%. First test. Bam. Test 1. I'll add 4 tests. That way we get kind of 4. Test 2. Make this June. Test 2. Add assignment. Test 3. 25. Test 3. 4 tests, 25% each. Last tests. Test 4, 25%. Final test. Oh, let's make this like November. I'm not sure what date I put on all those. Hopefully I got the test 3 with the right date. Okay, so we got all the tests. You can add grades. So let's say me, I get 100. Because advanced databases, no problem. That's me. John Doe, let's give him an 80. Bob Dole, let's give him an 85. And who have I got? Joe Buck. I'm sorry, Joe Buck. You got a 60. Okay, so that's test 1. So you could add questions. So this kind of shows, hey, question 1. Let's say 3 people got it correct out of 4 people attempted, that sort of thing. That way you kind of show, hey, how people did on that without being, specific to a student, that sort of thing. So let's go back to section, add some grades for all the tests. 100. Let's get some, like, 86. Some non-5 or 0. Maybe Joe Buck. Let's make him do better. Let's give him 84. Kind of add all the grades. Oh, I forgot. John Doe, I guess. Let's give him 76. And as exciting as this is, I want to have 4 entries. That way we can kind of see. So if you try to do 105, I think there's a constraint. It'll say error, new row for relation validates constraints. So it kind of keeps it to 100, that sort of thing. So you can't exceed that sort of business. And I guess we can look at the tables. Let's look at tables, PGSQL. So if you look at the table, here's accounts, username, password, type, email. So that's like student, teacher. So that's student information, course information, sections, enrollments. So that associates the students to courses, assignments, and you got, percentage between 0 and 100, year, 2000, 3000, all that sort of thing. Questions, grades, and that sort of thing. I'm trying to look up these other files I have open, so those aren't too interesting. So style CSS, so this has like the highlighting and all the style stuff. That's for my rounded corners on these boxes, which were the style at the time. But yeah, so here's the JavaScript. So let's look at the JavaScript. So this guy checks ID. There's a XML. Ajax requests that get sent out for like checking things in terms of like your password and if things are already taken on the register page. Most everything else is just basic HTML that gets included from the PHP's htaccess for the directory or the rewrite rules to make PHP extensions look like directory extensions. Then we got some images. You could look at install.txt. It's kind of a pain in the behind. Apache, mod rewrites, htaccess for mod rewrite. PHP Pear is used to access the database. GD is used to draw the graphs for the grade progress. So you install Pear, go Pear, and then add Pear DB. SQL, so we're using Postgres currently. Postgres is better. MySQL is an option. And there's install PHP. That's my old UTA email. That says how to install it. Kind of pain in the behind to get it all installed. But if you know what you're doing, it's very achievable. But anyway, let's continue adding grades here. So let's see here, Joe Buck. Let's give him 77. And, for the most part, when you log in, there's a session cookie that sort of has all your state information. And, get requests for downloading the pages, obviously, and post requests for posting information, Ajax for kind of the dynamic stuff. So hopefully I didn't do someone twice. I think that'd be a constraint question for the most part. Let's go back. Test 4. Let's just give everyone hundreds on the last tests. Hopefully they all pass the course, that sort of thing. But pretty much PHP, database, a little bit of Ajax, a little bit of JavaScript and CSS. And you have this nice little system, which is currently for a course thing, but if you wanted to modify it to do something else, you could. John Doe, I think I need Bob Dole. So submits. Okay, so all the courses are done. You can click on report here. You could see, max, min, average, deviations. This is the final, so everyone passed. Whoever's blue didn't do quite the best, but these are kind of anonymized, so you can sort of see how the class is doing. And this is drawn with that PHP GD extension, which is kind of neat, pretty much lines and points. So let's see, 84. Yeah, since that's averaged, you won't really find. I mean, there's an 84 there, but I don't think just the averaging happens to have the 84 there, because test 2 would be over here someplace. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I think you can click on the students. That shows, hey, I got hundreds on everything. Click on Joe Buck, kind of show, he did all right, I think. That 60 kind of set the pace. Bob Dole, nice and average. That sounds about right. And I think there's John Doe. He did okay as well. But you can email. It just uses the email client. So you can kind of see on the bottom. It just sort of emails the grades out. Will print it. And that's about it. I mean, I think we did everything in CS 301. I also put some stuff in CS 101. So we got Aaron Rodgers, Troy Aikman teaching CS 101 this year. CS 101, he's undeclared. You should probably declare your major. No assignments on this one. Aaron Rodgers. There's some assignments here. You can click report here. Got the same sort of business. But yeah, I mean, it's a nice little system. Got the course list here. If you wanted to delete a course, you can click that, delete a course, CS whatever deleted. You can modify things. So if you wanted to modify that course, you could, or you could just leave it alone. You could log out. So root logged out. And again, here you can do, new person and the password test exclamation test at domain.com IDs, and then testing and that sort of thing. Submit. So there you go. And that's pretty much Webgrade. I think it was a group project, but a lot of times some people don't have very much technical ability, if that makes sense. But there is a lot of software engineering course, so a lot of PowerPoint slides and such that they could definitely help out on that sort of thing. But that's Webgrade for the most part. I need to probably install the SealStats application, which is another web database exercise. But we'll save that for another video.